Another day, another entry. Hello and welcome. It's 3:30. It's the 27th day of October 2021, and I am your guide through all the 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons races. We are halfway through the core races from the Dungeons and Dragons Player's Handbook. Of course, there has been lots of changes since that book came out all those years ago. What was it, 2014, 2015? There's tons of new races, tons of alterations to the pre-existing races. Some races that were legal now aren't. Some races that weren't legal now are. And nowadays it doesn't really matter because you can be pretty much whatever you want. Change your character to look like whatever you want, and be however tall you want, whatever race, class, alignment, favorite sandwich. So today we're looking at the Half Orc. I don't remember why they added the half orcs. Was it probably appeared first in a splat book in second, and then became official in third? I guess people wanted a better bruiser than dwarves, or simply, once again, it's that old question: well, what happens if my player character has sex with a what's the baby like? And they're like, okay. So yeah, here we go. Whether united under the leadership of a mighty warlock, why warlock? That's probably that's got to be a misspell, right? That's got to be warlord. Or having fought to a standstill after years of conflict, orc and human tribes sometimes form alliances, joining forces into a larger horde to terror the civilized lands. When these alliances are sealed by marriages, half-orcs are born. Some half-orcs raised to become proud chiefs of the orc tribes, their human blood giving them an edge over the full-blooded orc rivals. Some venture into the world to prove their worth among humans and other civilized races. Many of these become adventurers, achieving greatness for their mighty deeds and notoriety for their barbaric customs and savage fury. Of course, now they're not, orcs aren't evil anymore. They're whatever race you want them to be, though they generally, I think for the write-up now, it's like generally evil, but up to the DM. We know orcs got a lot of slack over the past couple of years for reasons that this is not the result. Richard Baker, name sounds familiar. Not the reason of this vlog. So yeah, we're under the leadership of a mighty warlock. That's got to be warlord, right? Mighty warlock, diabolical warlock. I could see powerful warlock for a sentence, but mighty warlock? No, that's got to be a misprint. It's got to be warlord. That'd make way more sense. So the traits for the half-orc are strength +2 and con +1. Half-orcs age about roughly the same as humans and live about 75 to 100 years. Now, of course, Wizards of the Coast have changed the rules with Tasha. Every player character race lives about 100 years. Alignment. Orcs inherit a tendency towards chaos from their orc parents and are not strongly inclined towards good. Half-orcs raised among orcs and willing to live out their lives among them are usually evil. Of course, that isn't true anymore. Your half-orc can be whatever you want it to be. Your orcs can be whatever you want it to be in your world now. Half-orcs are somewhat larger and bulkier than humans, and they range from 5 feet to 6 feet tall. Your size is medium for the purposes of D&D combat, but again, if you want your half-orc to be 2'3", under the new rules, you can. Half-orc jockey. Yeah. Speed, base walking speed of 30. Dark vision. Thanks to your orc blood, you have superior vision in dark and dim conditions. You can see in the dim light within 60 feet of you as if it were bright light, and in darkness as if it were dim light. You cannot discern color in darkness, only shades of gray. Menacing. You gain proficiency in the intimidation skill. Relentless endurance. When you are reduced to 0 hit points, but not killed outright, you can drop to 1 hit point instead. You can't use this feature again until you finish a long rest. So basically you get a do-over. You get 1 hit point, but then if the guy hits you again, you're still going down to 0. And then we have the death saves. Savage attack. When you score a critical hit with a melee weapon attack, you can roll one of the weapon's damage dice 1 additional times and add the extra damage of the critical hit. Okay, so yeah. So normally critical hit does double the dice. So if a weapon is normally 1d6, a critical hit would be 2d6 plus, stuff. This one says you can roll an additional dice if you critical, So that's 3d6. Now these are both new. I don't recall if half-orcs in the past had these. They had different things. I mean, there's definitely a reason why you'd want to play one over, say, a dwarf, for just to be a bruiser, but I don't remember. Yeah, this savage attack, that's definitely new. They might have had something to do with endurance and intimidating and just basically being harder to kill, but yeah, this savage attack I think is just 5th edition. I mean, yeah, you know, if you're doing 3 dice on a crit, something that's able to crit a lot, like maybe a half-orc rogue, would be really deadly. Languages: you can speak, read, and write Common and Orc. Orc is a harsh, grating language with hard consonants. It has no script of its own, but is written in the Dwarvish script. Okay, so we've all seen the Lord of the Rings movies. Those were orcs, as opposed to, you know, The Hobbit, where we had orcs and goblins, and then the Lord of the Rings we had one brand of orcs, and then we had Saruman's more advanced orcs, Uruk-hai. Some have said that the Uruk-hai are in fact half-orcs because they're, you know, smarter, bigger, faster, more cunning than a regular orc. Others have said that they're half, you know, orc and something else. Of course, the half-orc assumes that you're half-orc, half-human. Of course, it could be half-orc, half-elf, half-orc, half-dwarf, half-orc, half-dragon, half-orc, half-carrot. Now, cards subject to change without notice. Your half-orc can be whatever you want it to be now in 5th edition, but this is the way they read when the book first came out. So there you go. There we get the half-orc. There are no variations to the half-orc in the Player's Handbook. There might be some in some of the other books. If you want me to look at the other books after the Player's Handbook races, let me know. If you don't and think this is a waste of time, let me know, because I'm not going to do it if you're not enjoying it or learning something from it. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe, please subscribe. It would be a great Christmas gift to help me hit 1,000 subs. And speaking of Christmas, if you're feeling charitable, there are many ways you can support the OGGM adventures. Till next time, enjoy the sunset. It is a lovely, warm 60 degrees with a nice, warm October breeze. One of those days you just want to be outside and jump in the leaves. But be careful, because those leaves might actually be a mimic.